Welcome to the Two Big Women on a Couch radio show. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we are two big women living large in a size 2 culture. This is our initial debut show. We are so excited to be here. We want to thank Pam and Rochelle from Chat with Women, first of all. And we certainly want to thank all of you who are tuning in this morning to listen to us.
Yes, we are two big women living large in a size 2 culture. We can be found on the second and fourth Thursdays between 8 and 9 a.m. on Alternative Talk Radio or 24/7 on our website, twobigwomenonacouch.com.
We want you to grab your laptop, take a seat on our virtual couch, because we are all about creating a safe and happy place.
This is a place where you can come and share with us, grow with us, learn with us, and support each other on this crazy ride that we all call life.
And it is a crazy ride indeed, so come laugh with us, cry with us, scream out loud if you need to. We are here for each other.
We are pleased to announce our first sponsor for our show, for Two Big Women on a Couch. Today's show is brought to you by Rana Creek. Rana Creek is an ecological design firm specializing in environmental planning, landscape architecture, habitat restoration, and native plant propagation. It's located in Monterey, California. We can enjoy some of their beautiful work right here in Seattle at the Ballard Library. You can look at their green roof. A list of their products and services can be found at www.ranacreek.com.
Yeah, Rana Creek is certainly a remarkable company, renowned worldwide, so we definitely want you to check them out, and we thank them for sponsoring us today. You know, Terry, we were working on some articles the other day, and we tend to really stay in tune with what's going on in sort of the plus-size world, right? And I sent you an article, and we were reading it. It was called "You Shouldn't Be Eating That. Anti-Fat Sentiment Gains Weight Worldwide." It was in the Vancouver Sun. Denise Ryan wrote that on April the 2nd. And we really want to talk this morning a bit about the anti-fat movement.
Well, it was an excellent article, and that's certainly where we live in the plus-size world. So that it was really apropos. And one of the things that it really instantly brought to mind was that prejudice against fat people is really spreading across the world like a fast food franchise, and it's spreading into every culture.
You know, what's really interesting, Terry, is that, we really try to work toward understanding and people really embracing diversity, cultural diversity, and all kinds of diversity. And but it's really interesting to find out that, that understanding and respect for beauty and body type is really on the decline internationally. And the North American sort of fat stigma is really on the increase, despite this jump in obesity. I mean, 1 in 10 adults in the world is now obese, or considered by the studies obese.
It doesn't make really much sense. And what we really find is formerly fat-positive societies, those of maybe Puerto Rico or the American Samoans and Argentina, Mexico, those associated curvy bodies with youth, with fertility, with wealth, and with beauty. And now they're starting to even adopt the North American anti-fat prejudices that are now associated with laziness, lack of self-respect, and yes, even moral failure we've seen. And it really, I think, hurts not only us here in this country, but again, spreading to other cultures as well, where usually large women used to be honored.
Well, yeah, like in Hawaii, large women were considered quite beautiful as well. And African American, many have really experienced more body satisfaction, if you would, because they aren't so concerned about dieting, and they're not so concerned about, weight fluctuations and so forth. And these are really based on studies, comparing to maybe Caucasian population or whatever. But what's really frightening is that, so in some of the articles we read, it's really interesting because I read that some people would rather be blind or dead than to be obese.
It really hurts me. It really stabs my heart. It's a hard thing to really read. And I think one of the big mistakes that people often make is to assume that one size fits all, either locally or globally. I think obesity definitely is a health problem. I don't think we can deny that.
Absolutely.
But we need to distinguish between it being a health problem or someone being just a little higher than average in weight, which is not necessarily a health problem. And I really don't like the word overweight because, again, I think it assumes that one size fits all. I come from a genetic background where we're large people. we're just larger people. I kind of identify it with more with the Samoan culture. So I think it's really a wrong assumption.
Well, like we said, we both agree that, obesity is certainly, there are some health issues that come along with that. Absolutely. But again, like you said, that one size fits all is just the wrong approach to this. And it's the discrimination and some of the hostility actually that's felt or that we encounter on a daily basis. I mean, large people really do encounter a lot of discrimination. And it's interesting also that sometimes even the people that we trust the most, like even medical professionals, not all of them, some are very super sensitive and they're, but many of them, some of the practitioners attribute all of our problems to being obese, right? All of our problems to being obese. Sometimes people get their treatments postponed because they're told to lose weight, and some folks just won't even go in, for example, to medical exams and so forth because of their size.
Well, I also think, and I think that's a good point, but I also think that part of our ill health comes from a result of living in a fat hatred world. And I think that just puts more stress on us. Social ridicule, the hostility that we often face, isolation. I think the fact that we face financial deprivation because of that, where we don't get paid as well. Lack of exercise is also can become because of the harassment that we may receive. I know I've sometimes gone into the gym and felt like I wasn't very welcomed there at times. So I think that the fear of fat can keep us preoccupied.
Well, sometimes it just makes folks really ashamed of their size, ashamed. And what does that do to people psychologically? What does it do to their mental health and so forth, right?
It robs us of energy.
Absolutely.
It robs us of our pride. Again, I think that needs to be said that I don't like myself heavy, but I don't want to feel the pressure to be streamlined, and that has to come from me, not from the culture. I don't want to be treated as a pig, and I don't want to be treated as if I'm any different or less valued in this world.
Absolutely, because, you and I, we're beautiful people, and we don't want people just looking at our size or whatever and thinking that they know who we are. And people really do miss who we are and what we're all about by just kind of taking that first impression, if you would. And so there are a lot of anti-fat sentiments out there, but there are some things that we can do. We really want to encourage people, who are subject to that, to be able to stand tall, live large. We always talk about living large in a size 2 culture. So we definitely want to show people and encourage people to be able to do that. I mean, I think it's really important that people experiment with what weight feels comfortable to them, rather than trying to go to this ideal image of being thin or what's supposed to be the ideal image of being so thin. Just experiment with what really is comfortable for them, and also be happy where you are. You've got to be healthy, no doubt, but just to really find that place where you are comfortable with yourself. And understand that, particularly as women, there are these fluctuations that happen with our body. It just does. One time I was an athlete and then I wasn't, and I've been up and down and so forth. But understand that that's what's going to happen sometimes, that there are going to be, and be accepting of that. The other thing I think is really being able to do what's right for your body. I mean, health, nutrition, exercise, and so forth is really important. And even if you just do a little bit every day, or add something that you didn't, like what I've done recently is add some food that I didn't actually used to like spinach and blueberries and things like that to my diet, and so forth. So just being able to do some of those kinds of things. But again, I think the big thing that I think is live large. Living large. I don't mean living large like just being, obese and feeling like that's living large. I mean, living large in terms of your attitude, positive living large attitude.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I really think there's a woman that really summed it up for me. And if you could, I'd just like to take a minute just to read what she said, because for me, this sums it up. Her name's Laura Frazier. And what she said is, by exercising and eating nutritious food, we feel healthy, and letting our body weight set itself accordingly. Discipline, but a weapon our culture uses against us to keep us in our place and feeling small. We need to quietly say not to ridicule weight standards, reassuring ourselves that we're good and the worldwide human beings, even if we aren't a size 6, and further to protect those standards more demonstratively on behalf of others as well. Both decisions require a change in attitude, which, while not necessarily impolite, is rather less tolerant of the everyday demeaning comments about body size that women now accept as their fate. In other words, we need to begin to throw our weight around.
I love that. I think that is like really on point. And just to underscore a couple of things that that you said in that quote, is that, you know, people use our weight. They use it against us as a weapon to keep us in our place and feeling small. That's happening, and that's a for real thing. We need to say no to ridiculous weight standards.
Needs to be a
never
paradigm
be a size
shift.
2. I don't even think I've ever thought size 2.
4.
Exactly. And the other thing I think that I heard you say in that quote was that we are all good and worthwhile human beings, even if we aren't that size 6.
That's right.
All right. Well, we are going to have to cut away for a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Much variety. Welcome to Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Speak the language of love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong. Take the heart and make it strong.
Welcome back to the Two Big Women on a Couch radio show. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we are two big women living large in a size 2 culture.
I'm Terry, and grab your laptop, take your seat on the virtual couch. We're all about creating a safe and happy place to share with one another.
Now remember, this is where you can grow, you can learn, you can share, and you can support each other on this crazy ride we call life. We want you to come laugh with us, scream out loud if you need to. We are here for each other. What we want to do is tell you about the social network community that we've put together. It's a safe place to be.
Yes, it's a Two Big Women on a Couch is a website where you can find community. You can find resources, friendship, a place to share common interests with other people. It's full of diversity, women and even some men on our site. It's a place to come and find friendship, find resources. Some people are lonely, some people are in pain, some people are joyous. We find women and men from 8 to 80.
You know, our members are able to participate in many things on twobigwomenonacouch.com. They're able to just come in and just connect with others. It's a very safe and closed environment, as a matter of fact. But they're able to connect with each other. They're able to say what's going on in their daily routine. They share, and it's amazing how many folks are just coming in and just saying what they've done today. They're able to meet other folks and become friends with other women and some of the guys in the community. They can establish their own groups or be a part of our groups. Terry, you want to share a couple of the groups that we've got going on?
Yes, we've got the book bag, the Two Big Book Bag, which is one of the groups that I'm particularly fond of, where we share the books that we're reading with each other, and we've even formed a virtual book club there as well. I also really like the Coffee Chat book group, where we just kind of get together every day and share a cup of coffee and talk about what's going on with our day and where we're at and what we're feeling. Talk about that coach one. That's a new one.
Well, see, this is the one that really excites me because we've got Coach Pope in there just really making it happen for us. And honestly, you know, since I went through an ordeal last summer, as you know, and kind of been going through some trying to get well and healthy again. And so when Coach Pope put this together for us, I was the first one to jump in. I said, oh, my goodness, she is going to be working with us on just, first of all, just attitude, just kind of understanding that it's okay where you are, but, you know, you can move a little bit. Even if you can't get out of bed, you can move your leg a little bit. You can move your arms a little bit and so forth and so on. So she's really kind of helping people wherever they are, wherever they're starting, to really begin to have a different attitude about what they can do. And so for me, it's like, oh, I can do this, or I'm willing to do, you know, something more than ever. So I'm very, very excited about that. But also, I also like the dine in style. Okay, so you know we've got the coach, you know, helping with that. And the good thing about the dine in style though is people are putting recipes up. They're actually putting videos up of them in the kitchen doing kinds of things that are showing us how to make some healthy meals and so forth. So I like those. There are a couple other ones, and again, this is not about just being overweight. I mean, folks who are overweight have a life, and with that, we have another one that's related to our furry friends. You know, folks who love cats, dogs, and maybe ferrets or whatever. So there's just a ton of things within that particular part of the website that people are really, really engaging in. They can put pictures up, photos up. They can upload and download files, and there's all kinds of stuff. But the really cool thing is our contests. we have some great contests.
Great contests, and they're ongoing all the time. We've found some really generous folks that have really provided lots of terrific things to share with our members, and I just think it's a wonderful opportunity to get some great candles, soaps, some clothing. It's
Jewelry,
been wonderful.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff in there.
It's been really nice.
Yeah, so the other thing that folks are doing is basically able to send e-cards or play games. It is really a community that is built for folks to find something for everyone. There's something in there for everyone. I know you're pretty impressed with the marketplace.
I am. And for other entrepreneurs like ourselves, it's a place where you can have your goods and your services and talk about your small businesses and really promote that business. The other thing that I've really found is 6 degrees of separation is no kidding. I met a woman that lived in a small, tiny town in Minersville, Utah, that knew my sister and her family when they lived there many, many years ago. Also, I just got connected with the woman that I used to know from here several years ago that found us again on the website. So it's just amazing in that way, too.
It's a great place to be, and so we definitely want folks to check out twobigwomenonacouch.com. And one of the things we want to do is maybe share a couple of stories, if we can, about some of our members.
I would definitely like to do that. And one of the ones that comes to mind is Cat 02, and of course we won't use people's real names, but Cat 02 came to our site with a woman that had faced a great deal of loss in her life. She had lost her husband after a 20-year relationship, which, a partner and somebody you lived with through that long. She had lost her father in the same amount of span of time, another person that she was very, very close to, and she also lost her pet dog, which I think that can really impact, because I'm sure that she was getting support from that animal, once she had faced all this loss. And then she was able to find our site and start to reconnect again and start to really share her story of loss, but then get encouragement from other members of our group that really built her up. And now she finds herself laughing out loud. And I just think it's a tremendous testimony of what you're able to find and connect with on our site.
And she is so willing to continue to let us know her story, and so it's been pretty amazing. Another person that is on the site that has really, really spoke to me. It really just made me realize why this is so important, why this website is so important. This is a 31-year-old woman who has a son, and she'll let you know she really is lacking affection. She's all by herself, pretty lonely, and just really having a really hard time right now, and just thinking about life and kind of the darker things that are, the hurtful things in life right now. And she came to this site really and has been amazingly putting her stuff out there. So that's how safe the site is for people to talk about being lonely or being without love or being, having crackheads, that is what she said, quote unquote, living kind of right in her neighborhood and so on and so forth, and having a son and trying to be a good mom to her child, but really feeling that loneliness and stuff. So she's been on the site, putting it out there, just letting folks know kind of where she is. So I think it's kind of cathartic for her to be able to do that, really kind of healing and cathartic for her to be able to do that. I think also she's finding people to respond. She's actually finding people to respond back to her and give her love and encouragement and tell her to, things are going to be okay. So.
And I really wanted to say that that's what I think is so remarkable. We have other women on our site that are writing inspirational things every day on our site to encourage people, whether it be with their faith, whether it be with their body image, whether it be with their lifestyles and where they're at now. And not only just to provide encouragements, but there's also solutions based. So
That's
it's really
beautiful.
been remarkable.
Yeah.
And I'm astounded sometimes when I get on and read some of the stories. And then I read the responses that perfect strangers give to other people, the reaching out and the connecting. It really moves me. And frankly, I'm so proud of what we've done in creating this.
I don't want to toot our own horn or anything like that, but I'm really proud that people are really engaging in this, that people they're sticking to the website, they're building community. They're offering, and we just really relaunched the website very recently. Mm-hmm. They're already offering to, do things for us. They're putting their hands into this thing and saying, how can I help? So it's a wonderful, wonderful community for all of those reasons. And, I know you go on daily yourself and put quotes on. Mm-hmm. Why are you doing that?
I just think that we need to hear other women's words. And so I always use women's in my quote. And typically the women that like Helen Keller or Maya Angelou and other women that I respect and have found that their words give me strength. and they give me empowerment. And I really firmly believe that as women, we need to empower each other. We need to lift each other up. So if I can find those words that maybe somebody will read one day and say, that's just what I need at this moment in my life. And it may just be something brief, but again, I find that other women are doing that on our site as well, and I just find it very inspiring.
I love that, and I think that that is really what it's all about, to inspire, to encourage, to listen, to share, and just like our motto is, we're here for you. We're here for you and for each other, and it really is a community built by the members for the members. Right? So we're really excited about that. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about in terms of the website?
I think that one of the other things that I really find remarkable is that how diverse the community really is. And I think that that speaks to a testimony of who we are, that we attract people, that we attract people from many other cultures, from many other backgrounds, and many different age groups. And I think that's just because of who we are as individuals, because that's what our life is made up, is diversity in every level. We look for that to include in our lifestyles, both of us.
We couldn't live without it. I mean, we believe it's such a better world when we hear all kinds of opinions and meet all kinds of people and eat all different kinds of food. Right?
Absolutely. Well, we're all connected, that's for certain.
And that's our big thing. We really believe that we are all connected. We really need each other. And if anyone believes that that's not the case, they really need to stop and think about that we all are connected. Well, we're going to stop and take a commercial break right now. We'll be right back with a special guest.
You're simply the best, better than all the rest.
Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
It's all in me. I can read your thoughts right now. Everyone from A to Z.
Welcome back to the Two Big Women on a Couch radio show. We are here because of Chat with Women, Rochelle and Pam, chatwithwomen.com. We are two women living large in a size 2 culture. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we thank you for being here. Well, we actually have a guest this morning, and we are really excited because she is actually a member of the TwoBigWomenOnACouch.com website. She goes by the name of Wah Lady Blues.
Hey.
All right. We want to welcome you to the show. We want to thank you for being here, and we know you've got quite a bit to say today. So we'll just kind of do this kind of interview style, if you would, but feel free to let us know what's really going on.
Definitely.
And Wah Lady Blues, just tell us a little bit about who you are, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm just a girl from Minnesota, grew up there, from a very large family, small town, farm community kind of thing. As growing up, I was finding myself really at a different size level than most of the kids in my classroom and things like that going up. Always on the bigger size. I remember dreading going into school and being the person who had to be at the highest level of the weight thing when they weighed you for the fitness test and things like that. I remember just always feeling humiliated and ashamed and just not comfortable, and trying to grow up. When you're growing up like that, it's you kind of stick out when you're in a smaller community because, if you're a different color or different size than everybody else, you're going to draw attention and always not in a positive way, because you're different. From there, I've stayed around Minnesota most of my life, but then about 15 years ago, I moved out to Michigan. And the experience was really an eye-opener for me because I moved out there and away from my family, and I didn't realize how much support and how much encouragement I got from my friends and my family at home until I didn't have it. So that was really kind of a tough thing for me. And then I ended up moving back several years later, about 4 or 5 years later, back to my safety net and feeling really comfortable. So a couple years ago, or about a year ago, I found the opportunity to move to the West Coast. It really was not much of a choice because my job was ending. The job market looked like crap where I lived, and I just really needed to take a chance. And I was ready to take a chance. My family's grown; they're on their own. I'm single, and this would be a perfect time for me to go take that adventure. So out to Washington I come, pack up the car, drive over the mountain, and here I am. As I was preparing for this, I really thought I need to be smarter this time than I was when I moved to Michigan, because I need to be successful. I want to be successful, and so I wanted to try to figure out a way to set myself up, and I started doing some investigating before I came out here even to find a support network.
Okay, great. Well, your story is one that I think a lot of folks, I mean, yours is an individual story, certainly, but certainly one that I think a lot of people can relate to. Growing up, different size, growing up, teased, ridiculed, and so forth and so on, moving around and what have you. But you came to this area, and somehow or another you found the twobigwomenonthecouch.com website. How did that happen?
That was, it was kind of a weird thing. I don't even know how to explain it other than that. I decided that, I have this useful thing called the internet, and I thought, well, why not use that to, I was using it to look for homes and things like that, and I thought, well, let's look at different groups. So I found some groups that are, Raintown kind of friendly, welcome to the community kind of thing. Here's, you can meet other people and things like that. So I found their websites and I joined them, and I found some other ones. And I'd Google different groups and stuff, book groups and things like that. And I found a couple of them, and I joined them even before I moved here, thinking that I'd have a head start on it. I didn't have the experience wasn't what I thought I was looking for. I was really kind of disappointed because nobody was chatting back with me. Nobody was, really even recognizing that I was even there, other than the commercial type things that you get from the websites and stuff. And then I started looking at some of the activities that they did, and they're all geared towards young professionals. Mm-hmm. And I'm over 40. Let's face it. I'm just not into the 20 to 30 age group of things to do for fun. And so it just didn't seem right to me. It didn't feel right. And, by this time I'm starting to get a little nervous. And so I just kept on looking. I actually moved out here and still thought, no, I'm still determined. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to feel, isolated. And because that's going to really affect how I become, whether or not I become successful here. So I just kept on looking. I found, I met this lady at work in the break room, and she said, I've got, this book group that I belong to, and I was wondering if you wanted to come to it. And I'm like, why not? Take a, it's kind of like moving out to Washington. That's what I do, I just do it. So, anyways, through that book group, I found this website. They gave me, information on how to find there, and that's how I found the website.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Since you've come to find the website, how has things changed for you, or has it made any difference in your life, or what have you found different here than you found at other places?
That I think the biggest thing that I found is that I don't feel alone. I was, even those first few months of being here before I found the website, I had found the book group, and which is cool, but they only meet once a month. And so really not a lot of interaction in between that time. But when I joined the website, it was a lot different because I instantly was reading what other people had to say, having discussions about topics that were of interest. Really, to me, it's it gives me a niche where I can chat about the things that are important to me. I can go in there and I can complain about the awful experience I had at the doctor's office. It gave me a place to release, a place to feel okay about talking about some of the issues that come up. My favorite complaint lately is going to the doctor's office and not feeling like they're geared towards fat-friendly people. And, trying to squeeze your arm into a little teeny-weeny blood pressure cuff that's made for somebody else, a lot smaller than you, and then, wondering why your blood pressure is a little high. That kind of stuff.
What we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. You know how it is. I mean, it's like, those little things like that, that really can make me feel very uncomfortable, unwanted, there's something wrong with me. And, so it gives me that release. It gives me that support. People are like, sending me direct messages, replying back, being supportive of me, things like that. And it just gives me that sense of family, that sense of community. Plus, there's a lot of fun stuff to do on the website. I like to pass my time playing games and such. And there's spot for me to do that. I love to cook, haven't met too many plates that I didn't think were great, And I like to be creative, and that allows me to be creative. And, being a diabetic person, I like to, really try to look at trying to find something that's carb friendly for me and things like that. And there's actually, we have the dining in style. Kim mentioned this earlier in the show. That is like one of my favorite things. And I love it because we actually have a section that's for diabetic meals and things like that. And I've thrown out at least one recipe out there that's my fave, it works really good for me. And, I'd love to hear more too. So, I mean, it kind of gives that, reciprocity. People are giving and taking, and, it just makes you feel like this is where I belong.
Great.
Right.
Well, we're really glad to have you, and we're glad you found us. And I hope that you continue to make connections and really find it a place where you can be at home all the time.
Well, you're an amazing Too Big member, actually. I really appreciate it. We see you on the site all the time and really contributing. And obviously, it sounds like you're getting a whole lot out of it. But the thing that Terry and I are so really proud of ourselves that we do is give back. And when we see members actually joining us and having the same kind of values that we do in terms of giving back, and that is sharing openly and giving back, it's really great. So we're really, really pleased to have you as a member and really look forward to more of your contributions. And we thank you really for being here.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking about when you're talking about that is that I've gone through, being over 40 and stuff, I've gone through many different situations that in my lifetime have really, sometimes I even forgot about that I went through them. But when I hear stories from other members that come in and they talk about, getting ready for their wedding and having difficulties with things like that, it's like things like that just kind of, single out things that from my past that, oh yeah, that was awful. That was awful trying to figure that out and having the pressure of, having to be the perfect size and stuff. And yeah, so that's awesome to have that kind of communication.
Well, it is. And again, we thank you so much. And, we know that Wild Lady Blues is just one example of many, many, many folks, particularly women who are on the site talking about their experiences, sharing their stories. And that's why people come to the community. And that is exactly what folks will find at twobigwomenonacouch.com. We're going to cut to commercial break. We are Two Big Women on a Couch. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we are family with chatwithwomen.com.
Talk, less rock. Come on, that's a good thing. Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone.
Well, welcome back to the Two Big Women on a Couch radio show. Again, we are family with chatwithwomen.com, and we love Pam and Rochelle. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we are two big women living large in a size 2 culture. We want to thank you for coming, for listening to us this afternoon, or this morning, rather. I'm a little bit ahead of my time. We have lots to say this morning, actually.
You've just been up for the last 4 hours.
Trying to get to the studio. Anyway, but this morning, we really want to talk about the media. And now, Terry, now that we're sort of a part of the media, We got to be careful.
We got to be
All
careful.
right. But we really want to talk about some of the images and so forth. I guess we'll call this sort of rant and rave. We'll do a rant and a rave, some ranting and raving.
Well, I'd like to start out with a rant then,
Okay.
if I could. One of the things that really upsets me is whenever you see a plus size or a large actor or actress come to a show to interview, the first question that the person that's interviewing thinks it's important to ask is, are you trying to lose weight? Are you on a diet? You're going to change the way you look. And I'm not sure that when someone else comes to the couch that's living a size 2 lifestyle, they don't ask, are you trying to gain weight? Are you trying to change your body image? That's not what first comes to mind. Or if they know the person's a smoker, are you trying to stop smoking? Oh, are you trying to stop womanizing? Those questions aren't asked, so I'm not sure why they think it's appropriate to say, are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to change your body image?
It's really interesting that you bring that up, because I know not too long ago there was the Mike and Molly, the guy from Mike and Molly, and he was on Barbara Walters, I believe it was.
He was
And,
on The View.
On The View, yeah, that's what it was, on The View. And certainly that came up, and it was like she looked at him like, you know, as she was asking the question.
Well, it wasn't only that she asked the question, it was the way she looked at him.
That's what I'm saying. She looked at him like as
if you aren't,
right.
what's
your
wrong with
problem?
you?
Exactly.
Yeah, she looked at him with kind of a disdain. It was really shocking, because frankly, I have a real respect for who she is as a commentator and as a woman in the media and her history, but it just really shocked me, and it really put me off.
Well, things are definitely changing, though, in the media a bit, for real. I mean, I think it's a lot different. There was certainly a time when it was exclusively you had to look really like that size 2, you know, and we're seeing some changes and so forth in that. And so I think we can certainly rave about that as well. But I agree with you in terms of, you know, our concerns about, you know, what's really going on. It's like, you know, we shouldn't be asked, or they shouldn't be asked, because, you know, as we're looking at ourselves as plus-size women, that those are still the images. We all watch those shows. I mean, we all do. And we hear those and we internalize, you know, what's really going on. And it doesn't always feel good. When you know that somebody has stature, they have fame, and they have all these kinds of things, they happen to be overweight, and they're still treated like that.
Yeah, and not only does it not feel good, but the also thing I noticed is when he came to sit down on the couch is how he didn't fit on the couch. And that accommodation wasn't even made. I mean, these are all very small women that are sitting there, surprisingly small, you know, that are, and I don't mean that in a negative sense either, but they're just smaller people, but they didn't make the accommodation that someone larger might be on the couch. And I've seen that on other talk shows as well, where maybe they're on tall stools, or maybe they're in situations where it's harder for people to get into and accommodations aren't made. And I frankly find it kind of insulting. They'd have the right water for them to drink in the green room. Why wouldn't you have the right seat to sit on when
Very
they're
good
being
point.
interviewed, you know?
Very, very, very good point. Yeah. But we are seeing a lot of shows now that are very positive. Some of them, though, make me question, really, are they really as positive as they could be? And there's some debate about that. But there's a lot of shows focused on larger people. What are they? There's like Heavy and Biggest Loser and Dance Your Ass Off, and I can't name them all, but there are a few. And I know the actress from Precious, what's her name? Gabrielle Sidibe, I think. Am I saying that right?
She has a great, terrific role on a cable network show where she's playing a supporting actor, and it's a very positive role, and really somebody that's, I think, playing a positive image as well as a high school student. We also see Glenn got a plus-size woman in a lead role that's playing a very positive role as well.
Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates is playing a lead role in her own show that really, where she is the feature and the focus. She's always been one of my favorite actresses.
I love her. Yeah.
Just love her. I think she's amazing.
She's a great actress.
And I'm so proud when I see these kind of women being projected on the screens to us in a positive attitude. It's really encouraging.
It's really important. It's really, really important because, again, we started our show today, our first show actually, talking about the anti-fat movement just really gaining sort of that worldwide, you know, acceptance and people discriminating and so forth. And so this is one of the ways if people can just tune into the positive things, really focus in. There's so much negative things that you can actually look at and sort of really internalize and feel bad about. But there's so much positive now. Even some positive in the media, like we're talking about, like these actresses and actors that are doing some great things, that have a presence and so forth. So I think it's, you know, in terms of what one can do for themselves, because it's really challenging to live large and to really, like we do, we have big attitudes. We really do live large. We really do feel pretty good about ourselves most of the time. But so many people really don't. And so we really want to point folks in a direction of being able to say, if I look at TV, I can see some images that really are positive, that really are healthy. I can come to like the twobigwomenonacouch.com website and find that kind of positive interaction and so forth. So I think that's what we've always said we wanted to do with our show, and everything that we do is really speak positively, be positively, and point people in a positive direction.
Well, I think what's also important is that's what we're setting the standard for our young women, for the women that are coming up, for those that are really struggling through adolescence and through really finding their own identity. And, you know, looking at the media, looking at 17 magazine, at all the issues, seeing these tiny, tiny women, that there's also a place for them. That, yes, if I want to be famous, that if I want to be a singer, if I want to be an actress, there may be a place for me. There may be a space if I want to step out, and just to really support that. And I hope that that's what we do with our website. And I hope that that's what I do daily in my life, is to encourage young women that are younger than I am, that be yourself, be proud of yourself where you're at today.
And we actually, a while back, before the new revamp of the site, we had a young woman who had actually written into us, remember? And I think her name was Carmen from Nebraska or wherever she was from, but who has had those very issues. She's like, how do I find, positive things? I'm a large one. She wanted to break into modeling, I think it was at the time, right?
Yes.
Modeling and so forth. So we definitely hold that spirit and that value, and we want to encourage, as you said, the young people to really be able to see those positive images and feel really good about themselves, because that's really where it starts. I mean, young people are faced with so many issues anyway, peer pressure and, all kinds of stuff anyway. So we really, it's just hard. It's just hard. In fact, somebody on our website said just being alive is kind of a challenge,
Some days.
just in general. So we definitely want to make it, we want to make it easy for people to, see positive things, feel positive things, and understand that, again, they are loved and that they are embraced. And there are people who, even with this anti-fat movement, there are people who really will be here to support them.
Well, and I also think that advertisers are starting to recognize that as well, which is very important. And I frankly think that's why we're seeing larger people on the medias, is that they realize that there's some buying
there's
power.
Money. There's their money in that.
That we as a group of people also have some buying power. We have money to spend, and I think that's why you're seeing more fashionable clothing that's coming for larger people.
And it's about time, because you know what? Those clothes used to look like tents, for real. I mean, well, can I get an amen for real? I mean,
amen.
Used to look like, it is really a beautiful thing to see that we can dress up now. Not because we didn't want to before, but because there was really nothing available.
Nothing, yeah. And I think we're really starting to see that more, that people are starting to cater us. There's even furniture. There's people that are doing travel groups around people that are of larger size. So I think that the advertising are starting to see that. And again, that's the main reason I think you're starting to see that on television. It's the same when we started to see people of different ethnic groups, of different sexual orientations. When the money people see that, they're going to start really promoting those images on the television and in the network. So
yeah, that's really where we're headed, and so it's a good thing. I mean, we've come a ways, not far enough, but we've come a ways, and so I think we need to just have our voices and raise them loud and share back, even with the media and so forth, and say how positive this really is, how wonderful this really is, and try to figure out how we can call them on the stuff when they do things that make us look really bad or make us have to look like we have to be a certain image or whatever. So.
And I think we as individuals also need to stand up when we hear anti-hate words spewed at us. We need to say stop, that's not sensitive, that's not appropriate. Just as you would for any other ethnic group or sexual orientation group, when people are speaking out against them, it's wrong. People are starting to recognize that, well, it's just as wrong to do that against people that have some size and that are plus size.
I think it's really important, even more so than ever, because, again, we keep talking about how the movement against fat, movement against plus size is gaining momentum. So really the voices really need to be loud. They really need it. People really need to, especially heavy, large, fat, plus size, whatever you call them, really need to internalize positive, healthy things, because when a movement is a discriminatory kind of movement is happening, and we're reading all about it. It's not, we're not making this
And
up.
it's okay to say that you're fat and that you're worthless and that you must be lazy or there's something wrong with you for being that way.
And a lot of people do think that, though. In fact, I was in a circle of people not too long ago before we were doing the show, and one of them truly spoke her real mind. And she said, what are you really doing, with your, almost like with your fat self, getting ready to go out there and talk about fat people,
And it's interesting when fat people say that. It's very interesting when fat people say that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when you hear other fat people, just because you may be a little less fat than I am, say, you know what? That's kind of an interesting dynamic, too. And I think we're going to be sharing that at a later date and really talking about that more, about kind of how we self-talk each other as well.
All right. Well, this has been really fun for us.
It's really been
It's
fun.
been really
Thanks
a
for
fun
coming. This is
debut.
great.
Yeah. So we are Two Big Women on a Couch. You'll find us at twobigwomenonacouch.com. You'll also find our page on thechatwithwomen.com. And we really appreciate our listening audience. We hope that you'll join us each and every, is it second
and fourth Thursday between 8 and 9 a.m.
And not in the afternoon like I was trying to make it. Okay. All right. Well, we're just really happy to be a part of the Chat with Women family and happy to have our own thing going. So thank you so much.
Well, we want to give a shout out to Ronna Creek, www.ronnacreek.com, for sponsoring us. Talk a little bit about what we're going to do next time. Have you ever been discriminated against, Kim?
Have you ever been bullied?
Have you ever been harassed?
Oh, in the workplace, at home, in the community?
Next time we're on, we're gonna have an attorney speak to those issues and what we can do about it, how we can empower ourselves.
All right, we are Two Big Women on a Couch. This is our radio show. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
We thank you for being here.
I'm going out tonight. I'm feeling alright. Gonna let it all hang out. Wanna make some noise, really raise my voice. Yeah.